All right, welcome everybody to our Tuesday afternoon team call. Super excited to be here with you guys. I just got off of a weekly book club call that we're doing. I know that Laura and Melissa were there on that book club call too. So it was an awesome discussion. The book that we're currently reading is Uncommon Accountability. And I just wanted to share that just as a reminder, as our role of coaches, the importance of personal development. Some of the things that we talked about were of where coaches and even star diamond leaders have struggled in their business came down to belief, mindset, and things that set them back in that area. And then when they got set back in their mindset, their belief, the stories they tell themselves, then it reflected into their business and into their team. So me showing that book and talking about getting out of book club is just a reminder to you guys to, as we're doing our business activity tracker, working on our time management, and doing the activities that we need to build a successful business, that you don't leave out that one of the most important things that you could ever do is to grow yourself with your personal development. And if you ever have requests of like what books are good or what should I read, it's always specific to where you're at in your own life and your business is what you need. It's not like a one size fits all type of thing. Personal development is like, if you're not good at sales or communicating with people or influencing people, then you'll want to read books according to that. If you're not good at staying disciplined or with your time management, then a personal development book on time management is good. I had a discussion with one of our coaches, Matthew, as you know, one of his biggest worries is like, he loves to buy things and spend money, and he has a great income. And so one of the things holding him back in his business is like, I don't want to like grow business, make income, and then just waste it on other things and be that example, because I love to buy stuff. So like a great book for him would be to read something that helps with investing or along finances, right? So everybody's so different in that aspect. So a quick reminder, it is the Fire and Flow launch today for preferred customers and coaches. I got my package this morning. I think I heard Gabby downstairs doing it during our book club. But we got that. I'm super excited to do that program. Remember to invite your current customers. It's opportunity for them to transition into coaches or preferred customers, or even to recruit into your business. For people that are excited to do that, they can become preferred customers right away and jump right into that. Also, a reminder about Summit coming up in July. Just www.coachsummit.com will have all the info on lodging, on tickets, everything that you need to know there, picking your track that you're going to listen to. So that's coming up. And then also we have a team. You guys are specific personally sponsored coaches that are on live with me right now. We have a team retreat coming up in August. If you want to come, Elizabeth and Laura are coming. I know that. Melissa, I know you got little ones in the house still. So if that's something that you want to do, you're welcome to come out. It'll be an absolutely incredible opportunity as well. It's like $325. And we have like a 10,000 square foot mansion. All the food will be included. And we're going to go do an epic activity as well. If you're a diamond coach, you get to come one night early on Thursday night. So you get 3 nights. So there's also some motivation, like June, July, it almost gives you 3 months. If that's a goal that you have, you can come for 3 nights for that activity as well. And also, hey, I see Ashley popped in from work. It looks like Ashley's a new coach for those of you that haven't met her yet. But yeah, so those are all the announcements that I have. Fire and Flow launch today. Make sure to get to Summit if at all possible. I said this on last week's call, but if you ever played Mario Kart when you were a kid, those little arrows on one track, usually on the outside or inside, when you hop on that with your little guy, he like zooms forward. That's what Mario Kart does for your business. I believe the team retreat will do very similar to that as well. If you can make it out to that. I do have also the guy that we rented the mansion from. He has made over he has flipped over 600 homes, and he manages hundreds of vacation rentals in St. George, Park City, Salt Lake City. He's going to come out. He has a podcast as well. He's going to come talk to us as well, just about business. What I love about him, he's one of my best friends, is he used to buy and flip homes before the market crashed in like 2008. And instead of losing everything and go to bankruptcy, he just turned all those homes into Airbnbs before it was popular. He just rented them out, and then he's built an incredible business where now he manages like 700 homes across Utah. And so he's just an awesome guy, because I love that mindset of when it looks like all else is failing and I could just give up and give in. Like, he flipped it around and made something awesome out of it. So he was a Major League Baseball player for the Twins. His son's probably going to be in the major leagues as well. Like, he's just an awesome guy that super disciplined but also has fun with life. So he'll be there at the team retreat too for a little bit. Let's go on to our topic, and I have the chat box up. So if you guys have questions as I'm talking, please chat them or just interrupt me, just unmute and just ask the question. But to start off, Laura says, can you make a specific list of books you recommend for specific topics? That would be a great idea. I could put something together like that. One thing that I do have, if you want to search over the next week, that I already have put together until I do that, is on my blog at scottyhobbs.com. I have 2 years in a row, I read 52 books or listened to 52 books on YouTube. And I put every single one of those on there. I think it was 2014 and 2015. It just search 52 book challenge, Scotty Hobbs, and you'll see a list of all the books I read those years. But as I started my journey as a coach, I had an MP3 player phone with a little SD card. So I didn't even have a smartphone like to listen to YouTube or anything. It was this little Nokia red and black phone with a little mini SD card. And I put Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Next Door, and The Slight Edge on that, along with Craig Holliday's 90 Days of Excellence series. And literally that first year, I just listened to those 4 things on repeat over and over and over. And like, Think and Grow Rich is, I think, 11 hours, 10 hours and 55 minutes on YouTube. It's free on YouTube, by the way. I worked a 12-hour day, so I could literally, when I sat in my cubicle answering emails for the service department, I literally could listen to that book in an entire day. So it goes back to some of the things I want to start this call out with. Like, how did I believe in myself to do this business? I flooded myself with personal development. I listened to that stuff so much that it became who I was, because that wasn't who I was prior. Like, I'm college dropout, ex-cocaine addict, alcoholic, who was like, I'm going to live this life of grinding 12-hour days, paycheck to paycheck, because I'm deserving of that because of the poor choices I made in my life. But that mindset changed because of filling my mind with those books. So there's my third plug for personal development for today's team call. So today we're specifically talking about time management and avoiding distractions. I think they go very hand in hand, because to manage your time and be effective in what you do, be it effective as a wife or as a mother, or effective in your job and effective in building a business, is going to take managing your time, but also avoiding distractions. Because too often I see a coach, like many of us on here, that, between maybe you're a parent of 3 kids, you work a full-time job, and you're trying to build this business and get your kids to all their sports and everything. And you have like maybe an hour or an hour and a half to build your business. And that's even maybe sacrificing some sleep, right? And what I see too often is, and that's why I want to do this topic, is you'll hop onto Facebook or Instagram, be like, I'm going to work, and you'll check your notifications. Maybe you'll go to the team page or to your challenge group, and then you'll comment on someone's thing, or you'll see there's a team call or a national wake up call. You'll click something, and then you'll click through things for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And then you're like, oh, I have no more time. Like, I'm done. And then realize that you didn't do absolutely anything for your business. Nothing on your business activity tracker is done. So that's why I really want to talk about how to avoid those, just give you some strategies to avoid those distractions, but also how to manage your time. One of the first things about this topic that I want to share, and we talked about it on our book club just barely before we came here, is to build this business, and to avoid distractions, you must become an emotional matador. Okay. Now, what does that mean? A matador is the bullfighter with the red flag and the bull comes charging at him, and then he like has to dodge the bull and it goes flying past him, right? So we're going to all have these emotions and these things flying at us throughout the day. It could be drama at work. It could be something with your kid in school. It could be going through a divorce. It could be someone in your family sick. It could be a client says something bad about you that's not true, and like whatever, right? There's going to be tons of things that can just like scatter your emotions, make you distracted. It could be news about Summit. It could be anything. It could be the change of the price of BOD. And like you could have some certain emotions about it, right? There's going to be all these things. So you have to learn to control your emotions and stay focused, or else you'll be distracted. Because imagine if something comes up, let's say you have an hour and a half to work, Ashley, and then you have a customer that has an issue and you really want to help this customer. Maybe they got the wrong product or the product didn't come, and you want to help them track it or whatever. It's a great thing, but you could spend focused on that. You could spend an entire hour trying to help that one customer or figure out that one thing, and then waste that whole hour that you could use building your business. I'll use a specific example. Laura, I won't share all the details, but Laura got some info yesterday on a change to some plans for Summit. And Laura can probably attest to this. It probably took some time and energy away from time that could be used to make initial conversations, to do invites, to do follow-up. Would that be true? Because we all do it. It happens to every single one of us. So there's always going to be things like that. So learning to master that is going to be so important. So some small advices for that: when something comes up and you need to deal with it. For example, this thing that came up for Laura, it needs to be dealt with. We need to find an extra night for Summit, for her hotel room for Summit. It needs to be done, right? So when things come up like that, where there's something you need to do for your business, one of the top things that I do is I make a to-do list for my business that is outside the business activity tracker. So Laura, for you, for instance, on a case like that, you'd be like, okay, this is happening. This is outside of my control and outside of my plan right now. I'm going to write it down. This needs to get taken care of in the next couple of weeks. We need to figure this out, and then work on concentrating the energy and the focus on not being distracted by that thing, so that you can put all of your focus and energy into your activity tracker. And really learning to control emotions, like the Matador, like my mentor, Craig Holliday, said in the beginning, is, let's say something like that happens and maybe you even put it to the side, but you're still thinking about it. Even if you go do your invites and your conversations, that energy is going to flow into your new contacts, into your answering of your messages, and go on to other people. So that's why learning to master your emotions is going to be one of the best things you can do for your business in the very beginning. Because if we can't do that, we're going to be distracted, avoiding distractions, right? When we're doing the work that is important. And I see it all the time. So let's say I have, here's a great example. So in my business right now, we have what would be called, in the compensation plan, our business is maxed out on volume. So if we're a 10-star diamond, we max out the team bonus cycles for that week. It would be 12,000. Beachbody is not guaranteeing any level of success or income. If we're an 8-star diamond, it max out, the income would drop. We'd max out at 10,000. If my business drops to a 4-star diamond, it maxes out at 6,000, even though there's a potential for 12. So every Thursday morning, I wake up with a large team like we have, and my assistant, which is my mom, texts me ups, which are the rank advancements that go up and the rank advancements that go down. So she'll be like, so in like a week or two, she'll be like, ups, Laura Paleo Diamond. It'll say ups, Ashley to Emerald. It'll be whatever, right? It'll be ups, Cynthia back to Emerald, whatever it is, right? So my mom texts me all the ups and then all the downs. And sometimes the downs far outnumber the ups. It'll be like Brigida Linford down to 5-star from wherever she was at. It would be me. She puts like Business Center 1, 2, and 3, Business Center 3 down to Diamond, Business Center 2 down to Ruby, business center 1 down to 4-star. And every time that it goes down, just this example for me, it's lost its income that was a potential to be there because we have the volume, sometimes thousands of dollars. Could you imagine if I sat there that entire day when I get that text first thing in the morning from my mom and worked my business, and I was focused on the energy, like a bad energy of like, I'm losing income, and I didn't master the emotion? It would be horrible. And I know there's a coach on this team that had an experience with a former coach of theirs. When they would get stuff like that, they would reach out to them and be like, did you know that because you dropped your diamond, I'm losing money? Which is a horrible thing to do, right? So mastering emotions has served me super well, because I literally get that text and I'm like, I look at it as a fact with no feeling. I look at it as a fact. If I drop my rank in any of my own business centers, I go to that to-do list, need to get back to 1-star in second business center, need to get back to 5-star in my first business center. Like, I'll just go write things that I need to do and focus on over the next week. And then I do my business activity tracker, and I try, right? 100% to completely disconnect from the emotion of I'm losing income or this coach's business might be falling apart. Does that make sense? So it's important to learn to master those right now, because as your business grows, the things are going to be much bigger. Does that make sense? So that's how I wanted to start this call off, because if you don't learn to master your emotions, a challenger returns their challenge pack. A coach resigns and cancels their account. If you don't learn early to master your emotions in those, you're going to be distracted and not effective in your work as you're building your business. So cool. Any questions about that before we move on to some specific time management tips? Cool. Okay, I have some notes so I don't stay distracted, because I'll get on one topic like that and I could go on the whole time about mastering your emotions. So the first, and I did a post about this, but we're going to hit on these specifically. The first one that I want to talk about is my first time where I really learned that I needed to avoid distractions was, I'm committed to building my business. I want to hit Success Club. I want to match my wife's income. I don't want to work overtime hours anymore. So I'm working on my business every single night. So I'm working on my lunch break from noon to 1. Sometimes I'm even doing a 10-minute call during my 9:15 a.m. Coffee break that the entire shop has. And then at night, I'm working, 8:30 to 11:30, 8:30 to midnight, right? So I'm committed to the activities I'm working. But I got in this habit, like I get home from work and one of my first goals was to get internet in the house. And then I got a smartphone. And I got this brand new thing called a smartphone, and I become addicted to something called a notification, right? So I'm building a business, and like, I'm supposed to be watching my 3 little girls at the time. They're 4, 2, and 6 weeks old. My wife's at work. I'm building the business. I get like a message. I would pop it open when I'm not supposed to be working. I'm supposed to be feeding my kids. And I'd be like, oh, someone's interested in P90X. And I'd answer it. I'd completely ignore my kids. And then I'd do some more stuff. And then a notification would come up. Lindsay posted in the Bombshell Dynasty. I'm like, what's this about? Oh yeah, there's a team call tomorrow. And I'm like, so I'm constantly like clicking on the notifications, and like a text message comes through, and I'm like bathing my kid, and I'm like, leave him in the tub. And I'm like, right. So I'm extremely distracted. Like, I'm excited, like, cause these are all things that might have to do with helping me grow my business. But there came a day one day, I remember sitting at work, and I was like, I picked up my phone, like on my little break. I'm walking out to take a break from work, and I'm like checking my notifications. And I remember just getting to the point where I was like, we didn't have Instagram at the time, just Facebook. I was like, if I ever see that blue banner of Facebook again, I'm going to smash this phone against the brick wall. Like, I just got because it was controlling my life. Like, I would wake up, check it. I'd be brushing my teeth, like looking at it. I'd hop out of the shower. I'd be looking at it as I'm walking out to make my shake. Like, it was like, I was tied to it. So I'm addicted to it, right? Have you guys ever felt like that? Like, you're just always checking it? Some of you might have got control of that, but that was me. And I'm like, I got to change something about this. So one of the first things that I did to help me control, like to avoid distractions, is the first thing was I realized that I didn't have to see every notification on my phone in order to grow my online business or to survive. I didn't have to see every single notification, right? And so that's step number one. And one of the main things that I had to do, or I'm going to go through a list of things that you can write them down. Actually, I'm going to paste them into this thing and you can save them. And then we can walk through them and they'll be like kind of like steps for you to kind of look at. They're in the chat thread there. Is I realized that I didn't have to see every notification in order to grow an online business or to survive. And then the second thing that I did, it's not on this list, but along with that line is I'm going to open my phone right now. Like, guys, I have thousands of customers and a huge team. I want to show you something. I just opened up my phone. Do you see any banner notifications on here? No notifications at all. There's not a text message, not a missed phone call, not someone liked your post on Instagram, not a message on Instagram, not a Facebook message, no notifications whatsoever. The only notification I get is like when something triggers our camera at the cabin, but that's just for fun because I want to see the animals. But no notifications I completely turn them off. And that was the thing I needed to do because I would be sitting, even during the team call, I would get distracted if I was talking and my phone's like, bzz, bzz. I would like, look, I would like just pick it up out of habit. That's what I used to do. Like, who's that? What is it? Is it important? Is it not important? Right? I would just pick it up. So I have no notifications on my phone ever. So that's one thing that I do. And then one of the things that I think is important about that is when I sit down to do my work, my business activity tracker, my to-do list, is I don't even check a notification until I'm done with my entire BAT. Like, you know, notifications on the right-hand side, like so-and-so liked your post or so-and-so posted in the Dynasty Strong Team page. I don't ever click that at all until my business activity tracker is done. Like, I sit down, I do every activity on the business activity tracker. And then literally the only time I ever check a notification is really just it's not to run my business. It's to be like, oh, I wonder what anybody said today on my posts or in the groups. Like when I'm completely done with everything and I'm not with my kids and I'm done with my business activity tracker. So when this call's done, I'm completely done with everything. I'll probably sit down and I'll probably click the notification and I'll go through and see some of the stuff. But it's like, it's not a business activity, right? It's not an activity to build my business. It's something just to do, just as a hobby outside of my business. It has nothing to do with growing my business. So that's one of the main things that I do is I don't ever check a notification until my complete to-do list or that business activity tracker is done. If I have a specific task that I need to do that is outside of, that I don't need my phone for, I'll completely leave my phone in the other room, right? And when we're specifically talking about building a business right now, but I want you guys to not just be successful in your business, but to be successful in your work career if you're working at one, or in your life as a parent at the same, because these principles will all apply. And that is to completely put your phone if you have activities to do, to completely put your phone in a different room. So what does that mean? Like for your business, it's like, let's say you need to put together, you're on your laptop and you need to put together some material for your bod group. Let's say you want to pre-plan your post for your bod group for the Fire and Flow, or you need to gather all the information you need, get all the knowledge you need so that you can effectively launch it and talk about it with your customers and your prospects. I would put your phone in another room and then sit down at your laptop or whatever and figure out what you need to figure out for that specific task so that you're not distracted by that phone or tempted to pick it up and do anything with it. And I think the same thing applies. And I find myself where I really had to learn this is Gabby's love language is quality time. And mine is, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages, if you haven't heard that. Mine is words of affirmation. So for me to feel loved and validated, all I need is for someone to say, you're awesome. Like, Scotty, you're a great person. And like, I feel like I'm on top of the world. Gabby, I could say all those things. It doesn't affect her. She wants quality, her leveling just quality time. So you need to spend time with her. Well, what I was doing when I worked a 12-hour day and worked on my business at nights, she worked at night. So it really worked out well because I built the majority of my business while she was at work, and I would be done right when she got home. But 1 or 2 nights a week, she would have off work, and she loves watching, even today, she loves watching shows, movies or Netflix series and whatnot. This would be me. Let's see if you can see me. I'd be on her day off. I'd be sitting next to her on the couch. We'd be holding hands, watching a movie. And I'd have this over to my side like this during the whole movie, like answering messages, checking into the team page, checking into my challenge group and commenting on stuff. And she had to call me out on that. So that's where I learned, okay, when you're an activity, that activity specifically was with my wife. It could be with your kids, helping your kid with homework. Don't be trying to answer someone's question about a challenge pack while you're sitting with your kid doing homework, right? Put your phone in another room when you're working on another activity. It's going to help you not feel overwhelmed, because if you're trying to do too many things at the same time, you're going to feel overwhelmed. The majority of people I see that quit in this business, there's a few things, lack of belief, like they lose belief in themselves. But one of the huge things is they feel burnt out. And I can completely understand how you'd feel burnt out if you can never put down your phone and your bit. It'd be like working 24 hours a day. Who signed up to be a coach to build their business? So you have to work 24 hours instead of 8. Anybody? I don't see any hands, right? So learning these to avoid distractions from the beginning is going to be huge. It's going to help you avoid burning out and create habits that will help you maintain long-term success, so that you don't feel, I would feel burnt out with as much stuff as I have going on 11 years into this business. If I felt like I had to answer every single question or respond to every single comment exactly when it happened, right? So I want you to leave your phone in another room when you're working on specific tasks for your business. I mean, that could be your workout. Don't be like picking up your workout like pausing your workout in the middle to answer a message. Like, be where you're at. And I think that's the best way to call it, is be where you are. If you're with your kids, be with your kids. If you're with your business, be with your business. So that's one of the tips, is to leave that in a different room. I kind of mentioned it with the banners. All noises, alerts, and sounds are turned off on my phone. And I think that's an important thing. Obviously you could set it to, like, if your mom calls you or something, that can come through. You can do certain things like that, right? But at least as far as Facebook and Instagram, there's nothing so important that when it comes in, you have to respond to it. And having to respond to it all the time will burn you out, just like I shared. But if you need to make sure that you get a text from your spouse or your kid or your mom or your dad, then by all means have that notification up. But that would be the only one I say to put up. The next thing that I want to share with you guys, and there's a slight exception to this rule nowadays, outside of my business hours, is I never, ever scroll my news feed on Instagram or Facebook. Okay. Never, ever scroll my news feed. I don't know what a nose feed is, but a news feed. I don't ever scroll it. The one exception now is there's specific times where I sit down for maybe 10 minutes and I'll scroll only through reels so that I can find audios or reels that I can recreate. So it's a specific action for my business to find audios or reels that I could recreate for my own business. Does that make sense? But like I found myself over the past 11 years where I'll sit down I'll go in the bathroom, or I'll sit down to eat and I'll pick up my phone and I'll start scrolling and I'll be like, oh, wait, like I'm going to get overwhelmed and burn out if I'm on this thing too much. And so I'll put it down. So I have to catch myself in that one, but don't scroll your news feed. It's basically like what's happening when you scroll your nose feed. What happens when you scroll your news feed is that you are letting other people put their opinions and their energy into your life unintentionally. Like it could be something negative, it could be complaining stuff, it could be news. You're letting other stuff come in and affect your energy. And most likely it's going to be, for the most part, it's negatively that happens. So the only time I do it is intentionally to find real audios for reels. So that's another one. And then I just started one 3 weeks ago. So this past Sunday was only one. On Sunday, I don't open Instagram or Facebook, any social media app at all on Sunday. Like I just made a day to be, I have like a complete fast from social media and from my phone. And that's been awesome. Trust me, it's hard. Even Gabby's like, you have to like go into your settings and put like, because we have it for our kids, like where it shuts off at certain times and you need to shut it off on Sunday. I was like, I got enough self-control. I can handle this. But it has taken some self-control. I catch myself grabbing my phone in certain, like even at church, like picking it up to open my phone. And so I've worked on for 3 weeks now, not using my phone at all on Sundays. That's been awesome and just refreshing to be like, oh, I can live an entire day without my phone. Because I don't work my business. I don't do my BAT on Sunday. So I have no real need to open up my phone to Instagram or Facebook. So that's one of the things that I recently started that has really, really helped me. So with those being shared so far, do you guys have any questions about any of those tips, concerns? And this topic has mostly been just about avoiding distraction so far. And then I want to talk about time management before we end. Any questions about on those tips on avoiding distractions? Okay. It's helped me a lot. I know that I've been able to maintain energy and speed and momentum over 11 years by learning those things. I had to learn each of them little by little as I went, like the slap in my face from my wife catching me like on my Facebook during movies. Even just the looks of my kids at their sports games when they look over and they just did an awesome play in soccer and they look over and you're in your chair on your phone. I've been there before and it doesn't feel good. So just working on avoiding distractions, not only for your business, but also when you're with your kids, be with your kids. So be where you're at. So let's talk about time management. I'm going to have you guys do a little activity. You can start it now, but you can really finish actually, let's just do the full activity right now. Do you have paper? Anybody have paper or not have paper? Okay. I want you to get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle of it. We're going to do a little activity for time management. Trying to find a piece of paper. Here we go. And what you're going to do is on one side, you're going to write down all of the things that you do in your day. Everything that you do. Try to think of everything, like driving the kids to soccer practice, watching Netflix, playing a video game. It could be watching a Netflix documentary or bawling like me, watching the last episode of This Is Us. It could be anything. Everything that you do on one side, that you do in a typical day. Driving kids to school, playing the guitar, going to the gym outside of your workouts, everything. And I'm writing them down too, by the way.
Scotty, so there is one thing that I struggle with, and that is scrolling the stupid news feed.
Yeah.
And I never knew the reason why not to. So I appreciate you sharing, about the energy thing, because it's so true. Like, your energy can be shifted just from what comes into your eyes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
thank you for that one. That's going to really help me.
Yeah. Brendan Bouchard helped teach me that one at a Masters Academy, excellent, something like that. I can't remember what the academy was called, but he called them like people on social media, call them energy sucking vampire biatches. He's like, when you open your phone with no intention, just to scroll, you're letting people suck energy out of you. So, and you guys can continue to add some more later. I don't want to sit here too long in silence and get this done so you guys can move on to be efficient in your next activities. But the other side of the paper, so on one side you have everything you do, the other side, write down the things that you must do to grow your business or to achieve your goals. So things you must do to achieve your goals. One thing I want to remind you of here as you're writing it, it could be Beachbody goals for your business. It could be your own health and fitness goals. It could be your goals as a parent or spouse. We're not going to just limit this to Beachbody coaching goals. Like if you have a goal to be, Laura, if you have a goal to be a better spouse, or Melissa, you have a goal to be a more present mother, or whatever it might be, or you have a goal to be more spiritual, like, right? Like we're talking about those, like all the things you must do to achieve the goals that you have, not just Beachbody goals. Okay. And you guys can complete this activity after the call. You might think of other things that you must do to achieve these goals, or other things that you're doing in your day. Like later today, you might be like, oh, I forgot to write that I'm at work 8 hours a day. Like every one thing I do is I'm at work every day, right? You got to write that down too. So the purpose of this activity, and it's going to be different for every single person on here, is if there's things, if you can't really complain about having time to build your business or to work on your goals, the things that are on the right side, if there's things on the left side that you're doing that don't align with those goals. So if there's activities on the left side that you're doing that don't bring you closer to your goal, what I want you to do is I want you to cross those activities out. So it might, let's say I have, okay, so, and this is where I say it's going to be different for every single person. Like right now, for example, every night I play video games for an hour and a half, but I'm not in a place where I'm complaining that I don't have time to work on my business, or I don't have time to work on my goals with my relationship with Gabby or with the kids. Like I have that time. Like every Thursday I take Gabby on a date. I watch shows with her every night for an hour and a half. With the kids, I help them with their homework. Like I've created the time for that. But in the very beginning, when I played video games every day, some of those things looked like I played softball on Tuesday night and Thursday night. I played video games every night when Gabby was at work. So what I had to do in this case was I had to cross out softball. I had to cross out play video games. because those were activities that I was doing that didn't help me or align with my goals. Right. And my goals at the time were to be able to build a business to the point where I could bring Gabby home from work. And so to give you an example, anytime that I played softball, the games are an hour and a half. I would have to pack up all three little kids, like get the car seat, pack them up. I'd have to leave like 45 minutes early, put them on the sideline. I'd have to warm up. I'd play the game an hour and a half, and then I'd drive home. It would end up being like a 2.5 hour ordeal. Right. And that was 2.5 hours that I could do what? Work on my Beachbody business and my goals. With video games, for example, I played every night. What I had to do at that time was I set a limit to myself. And at that time with my best friend, Ian, I used to play every night by myself, and he would come over once a week. And we had to legitimately just play once a month together. And then I would play 1 hour a week. So I'd play 1 hour a week at night. And then I would play just once a month with him. And then that's where I say it has to be specific to where you're at in your life. But if there's things on to best manage your time, you have to look at how much time do I have in a day? And are the activities that I'm investing my time into bringing me closer to my goals or further away from my goals? Does that make sense? And so, I mean, that's one of the main things that helped me in the beginning. And by all means, for example, if you love watching shows, like let's say you have a Netflix series you love, like it's okay, but do it more in moderation, and don't do it until you have completed your to-do list. Does that make sense? Like if you legitimately want to build a business, like you have to create that discipline for yourself. Let's say you watch This Is Us or Chicago. I love Chicago PD with Gabby. Like, for example, I wouldn't watch that Chicago PD until I knew that my business activity tracker was done. Right. Or for example, right now I play every night. I play Call of Duty. Sometimes I'll even play in the afternoon, but let me tell you a secret. I will not play it until all of my business activities are done and I have no responsibilities with the wife or kids. So like today, for example, my business activity tracker is done. I'm done with my personal development. I've done my goals. I have read scriptures daily. I read my scriptures. My business activity tracker is done. My personal development is done. Spend more one-on-one time with each kid daily. Like even if it's 3 to 5 minutes uninterrupted without my phone. I can't do that yet because they're at school. I did it a little bit this morning. Right. So these are my to-do list. And my relationship with my wife, I'm going to spend uninterrupted time with her tonight watching shows, and I take her on a date Thursdays. So when I finish this call, for example, I'm done with all of my activities. Like if I wanted to go down and play for 45 minutes, I can go do that activity that I love, but I can only do that because I have completed my, all the activities, the things I need to do that align with my goal. Does that make sense? So that's an activity I want you guys to do for your time management to make sure that it's something that really helped me. Craig Holliday is the one that helped me with this, by the way. He has a whole call series on it, or a call on this whole topic as well. So if you want to go back and listen to that, but this is something that really helped me because it got me disciplined in not playing video games every day. It made me realize that although I love baseball, softball, right now, this year, this season, spending 5 hours or 2 games a week doesn't help bring me closer to my goal. I could use that 5 hours towards my business. And I remember, guys, people are going to judge you or make fun of you for anything, for eating healthier. People make comments. I still get it today. Like, I went on a camp out and they're like, they busted out the s'mores. And the first comment someone said is like, I bet you can't have that, can you, Scotty? And I'm just like, seriously, we're still doing this thing and we're 40. Right? Like people always have something to say about your goals. And I remember when I was playing softball, I absolutely loved it. It was with one of my best friends. And I remember I had a flyer I made printed out of my before after picture, and we did a local workout every Tuesday night. And I made an invite to our fit club, and I handed it out to everyone on the team, and they all crumpled it up and like tossed it in the garbage. And they just kind of like chuckled and laughed about it. Right. And like, that's kind of rough. It is what it is. Right. But I remember my best friend, he was like the coach. We're the same age. So he's like, Scotty, you're not going to play? And I was like, no, dude, but let me tell you what, and I told him, this is what I told him at the time. I was like, dude, give me 2 years, because I'm building this business with P90X, because he already knew I was like, give me 2 years. And dude, I could play softball every single day if you want, but give me 2 years. And then I'm going to have that freedom to play as much as I want. And the cool thing is he went on to become one of my challengers, went on to become one of my 2-star diamond coaches after that, following that example. But it was like making that solid decision to, I'm going to short-term sacrifice this thing that I love so that I can do it more in the future. And I think about that right now. I love playing video. I love playing just one video game. But because I made those short-term sacrifices, like I could play every night if I want, and not have it not affect my relationships or my business goals. Does that make sense? So some of these things on the left side of your list, you need to have short-term sacrifices so that you can do those things that you love more often in the future. That makes sense. Okay. Well, we've already gone 50 minutes. I've covered most of the stuff that I believe I want to cover, unless you guys have any other questions, any questions at all. It doesn't even have to be about time management or eliminating distractions.
This is really silly, but I don't know how to turn off notifications on my iPhone. So I just turn off the whole phone, but I still get them on my watch because it's all paired together. So I don't know how to get away from it.
Yeah. So just go to, I haven't done it for so long, but I would just go to Google, Laura, right after this call, I would go to Google and I would just go, how do I turn off notifications on my phone? But like, I just went to settings. There is one called notifications and notification style, and show previews, and it shows announce notifications. And then it's notifications. There's notifications for Airbnb, Allegiant, Amazon, everything, right? My cameras, my app for my thermostats at some of our rentals, FaceTime, Facebook. Like right here, you can see Facebook. I click on it, and right there at the top, it says allow. Oh, come on. The light is horrible. Come on. Allow notifications, and I just have it clicked off.
Okay.
FaceTime is off. I even have phone calls off. Instagram off. Mail off. Messages. Okay. Yeah. And then you can turn off whatever notifications you want under settings, notifications.
Okay.
But if like you want text messages so that they come through for, if your kid texts you or, those things, like leave those on by all means. But I would at least turn off notifications for Facebook and Instagram. There's no need for anybody to be notified about when so-and-so comments on your post or your like. It'll just feed an addiction to look at it. Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. Cool. Well, when I shared like cut out the things on the one side of the list, like I do believe it's important that you do things that you love. But for example, if you're not achieving your goals, your health and fitness goals and your business goals, but you can find time to watch 2 hours of Netflix every day, then there's a problem. Like if you're not finding time to build your business every day, or if you're playing video games every day, but you can't find time to complete your business activity tracker every day, then that's where I'm sharing the problem lies, is make sure that you discipline yourself in that area, you complete your to-do list. But by all means, I'm 100% advocate of doing things that you love. Like if playing video games brings you some sort of joy and fulfillment, or watching a show, in your downtime, or having a hot Epsom bath by yourself, like that doesn't align with helping you achieve your business goals, right? But if it's something that brings you peace and happiness, joy, love, all that stuff, by all means do it, but make sure that your activities that will move you towards your goals are done first. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you guys go so you guys can be with your families and finish up anything you have left on your activity trackers. One thing that I've started doing now that the weather's better is like, I don't love sitting in an office. Like, this is my office. I don't love sitting here at the computer or on my phone. Is when I am a habit that I've picked up since the weather's gotten better is when I'm answering my Instagram messages, like when I go through as part of my daily activity to answer every Instagram message and every Facebook message in my inbox, which I have those because I'm starting new conversations and doing invites, is I go for a walk. I walk the block with my phone and I answer one message at a time. Sometimes I voice text back. Sometimes I just voice to text back, and I do it while I'm walking. And like, it's like kill two birds with one stone, because I love being outdoors. I don't like being indoors. So there's ways too that you can do some things that you love, like being outdoors or even biking or moving and working on your business or reading at the same time. So cool. I'll let you guys go. This call was recorded. If you feel it will help one of your coaches, feel free to share it with them, and we'll see you guys on next week's call. See you guys later. Thanks for hopping on.